everything you know about Dracula is wrong. The real monster Bram Stoker wrote was far sadder than any movie ever dared to show you. You already know the fangs, the cape, the coffin, the count who sleeps by day and hunts by night, but almost everything you think you know about Dracula came from the movies. Not from the book, and the book is stranger and sadder than any film ever admitted. Because in Bram Stoker's original, buried under all the horror, there is one quiet, devastating truth about the most famous monster in the world. Dracula did not cross the world for blood. He crossed it because he could not stand to be alone. Let me show you the story you were never told. It begins with a young lawyer named Jonathan Harker, riding a coach into the mountains of Transylvania, where the locals press crosses into his hands and beg him not to go on. He is traveling to a crumbling castle to help a wealthy client buy a house in England. The client is a nobleman named Count Dracula, and at first, the Count is the perfect host. Old courteous, endlessly curious about England. He keeps Harker up through the night, asking question after question about London, the crowds, the traffic, the rush of so many living people in one place. And then the Count says something that should have warned Harker of everything to come. He says, "I long to go through the crowded streets of your mighty London, to be in the midst of the whirl and rush of humanity, to share its life, its change, its death, to share its life." This is not a beast talking. This is something ancient and unbearably lonely staring across the sea at a world full of warmth it can only watch from the dark. But Harker does not understand yet. He only begins to understand when he tries to open his bedroom door and finds it locked. He is not a guest. He is a prisoner. Slowly, the truth of the castle reveals itself. The Count casts no reflection in the mirror. He crawls down the sheer castle wall, face down, like a lizard. And in a forgotten room, Harker meets three pale women with burning eyes who move toward him, and are stopped only when the Count throws himself between them and says the words, "This man belongs to me." Harker realizes he will never be allowed to leave. He watches, helpless, as the Count loads box after box of his native earth onto carts, 50 wooden boxes filled with the soil of his homeland, and ships them toward England, toward the crowds, toward all those living people. And then the Count is gone, and Harker is left behind in the castle, alone with the three women with no way home. Meanwhile, across the sea, a ship is sailing into a storm off the English coast. The Demeter, when it runs aground at the town of Whitby, the crew is gone, every single one. The captain is found lashed to the wheel, dead, a crucifix wound around his hands. His log tells of a thing aboard the ship that took his men one by one, night after night, until he was the last. And the only living creature to come off that ship is an enormous dog that leaps to shore and vanishes into the town. Dracula has arrived in England. And here's where the story becomes something quieter and far more frightening, because he does not attack. He waits, he watches, he chooses. He chooses a young woman named Lucy Westenra, bright, warm, adored by everyone who meets her. And night after night, she begins to sleepwalk, drawn to a dark figure at her window. She grows pale, she fades, and no doctor can explain why. They call in an old professor from Amsterdam, a man named Abraham Van Helsing, who has seen this before. He knows what is draining her. But even he cannot convince the others in time, and Lucy dies, except she does not stay dead. She rises, changed, cold, and begins to prey on children in the night, and her friends, the men who loved her, must gather at her tomb and end what she has become, so that her soul can finally rest. This is what Dracula does. He does not simply kill. He takes what is gentle and warm, and he twists it into a hollow, hungry echo of itself. He makes his own loneliness contagious, and his next target is the heart of the whole story. Her name is Mina, Jonathan Harker's wife, and she is the one thing the movies almost always get wrong. Because Mina is not a victim waiting to be saved, she is the smartest person in the entire book. While the men run in circles, it is Mina who gathers every letter, every diary, every scrap of evidence, and types them into a single timeline. It is Mina who pieces together where Dracula is hiding, how he moves, and how he can be caught. The men have the stakes and the courage. But it is a woman's mind that maps the monster, and that is exactly why Dracula comes for her. He forces her to drink his blood, binding her to him, beginning to turn her into what Lucy became. She can feel him inside her mind now, but instead of breaking, Mina uses even this against him, letting Van Helsing hypnotize her, so that through her link to the Count, she can sense where he is fleeing. Because Dracula is fleeing. His hiding places in London have been found and destroyed. His boxes of native earth broken open one by one until he has almost nowhere left to rest. And so he runs back the only way he knows, back toward the crumbling castle at the edge of the world, and they follow him. Across Europe, in the dead of winter, racing his box of earth up the frozen mountain roads as the sun begins to set, because they know, if he reaches his castle by nightfall, he may never be caught again. They catch the cart at the last moment. As the sun touches the horizon, they tear the lid from the box. And there he lies, the ancient count, helpless in the dying light, his red eyes looking up at them. And in that final instant, as the knives come down, the book says something the films always cut. It says that as he died, there was a look of peace on his face, a look such as Mina had never expected to see there. Peace on the face of the monster, because for the first time in centuries, the loneliness was finally over. So think about the story you were actually told. An immortal thing, older than the nations around it, the last of its kind, sealed away in a dead castle at the top of the world, with no one left alive who remembers its name. It looks across the sea at a country full of light and life and crowded, laughing streets, and it wants more than anything to be part of that. To share its life. But the only way it has ever known how to touch another living soul is to drain them. The only way it can end its own loneliness is to spread it. Dracula was never really a story about a creature that drinks blood. It was a story about the loneliest being who ever lived, reaching for warmth with hands that could only kill. He wanted to be among the living, and everything he touched, he turned into the dark.